Mondello Park is in County Kildare, just west of Dublin. Already, the racetrack here is a major hit with fans and riders alike, but the county itself has great sporting pedigree. Not only is it famous horse breeding territory, but also it's home to the Irish Snooker Championship, and in 2006 will host the Ryder Cup. But this weekend, around 20,000 fans will come here for the British Superbike Championship. Well, it's a beautiful day here in County Kildare, can I say, on behalf of the Irish Tourist Board. It's always like this in Ireland. And what a day to make your 100th British Superbike appearance, which James Hayden is actually doing today. Now, James, you've had a rocky time. Obviously, you're with this team back in 2001. You had an unfortunate time with Foggy Patronus. Then you rode the Ducati at Snetterton, and now you're on the 4. That's a 3 to a 2 to a 4-cylinder. How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. I mean, I was just very, very rusty. Obviously, being out of practice, not riding, but it's been great to get back on the Virgin Yamaha, and we've been working really well through qualifying, improving the bike all the time, and we're slowly getting there. We're not quite there yet, but I'm feeling better. I'm getting better. So watch this space.
Well, there's been new parts from the Honda factory for Michael Rutter to make him get away from the line, so let's hope he does here at Mondello.
Let's watch. Revs are up, ready for a start in the foreground. That seemed to work, Steve, all right. Absolutely away, smooth as you like, Michael Rutter. JR getting a little bit swamped. And hang on, who's this protagonist on the Kawasaki? None other than Mr. Smart, muscling his way down the inside. Can he hang on to it through that left-hander? No, Rutter just eases him out at Stenner. Belter of a start though for Scott Smart.
Yeah, fabulous start, and as you say, a lot of hard shoving going on there on that first corner. Scott Smart went pretty good here last year, as did the Kawasaki's, but these are the new ZX 10,000s, of course. Last year they were on 750s. Interesting to see. Michael Rutter, I think that's the best start we've seen him have all year.
It was an absolute blinder, wasn't it? Can't wait for this battle. Amber, look at this. Glenn Richards getting very, very agitated, wanting to chew a piece out of the rear end of that Suzuki. No luck, though, as it holds the line. Scott Smart in tight. JR doesn't like this at all. Reynolds on the blue machine. That's your Suzuki. He's been ultimately super fast around here, but finally seen off by Michael Rutter in qualifying. If he's going to make a dent in Michael Rutter, he'll need to get this sorted pretty quick, Smart, with the Kawasaki.
Yeah, he will do, and no doubt about it. It's tough to pass around here. Very, very bumpy. Remember, John Reynolds, that Rizla Suzuki, has about 200 horsepower. There's not much time and place to use it because it just wants to wheelie everywhere. It wants to spin out everywhere on these bumps. They're all using low gears, obviously a short circuit, second, third gear corners mainly. This is a second gear corner now. Round the long left-hander up towards the faster left, but then up towards a very, very tight Dunlop right-handed hairpin. This is what they're going up towards now.
Plenty of lumps and bumps around here as we come down into Dunlop, the really tight right-hander. JR just through, absolutely balks Scots, but he fights back, line by line. Kawasaki just pulls back in. Nice try there by JR, but Scott Smart was up to it.
Yeah, JR was up the inside. Look at those bikes bumping around. JR's done it this time. Again. Yeah, fantastic. John Reynolds was late, but Scott Smart turns that Kawasaki. Reynolds has the inside line, though, through Stenner corner. But look at the bike. It really is all over the place.
Oh, right, a cowboy. Down the back straight, the run down the hill. It's bumpy as you like. Fast right-hander here. It tightens up on itself, and then the rise out. Really hard to get a good exit speed.
Yeah, it is hard to get out of there, and it's kind of a bit of a negative camber as they come over the top of the hill. Now down into this other 180-degree left-hander Holiday Inn Island corner. Again, they resurfaced this last year, and you just look at that machine, the back end of that Suzuki of John Reynolds. It is just grappling for grip.
I tell you what, mate, they might have resurfaced it, but it's still a black run. Tons of moguls around here. Fabulous circuit to watch, difficult to pass. All of this has been great for Michael Rutter. Look how far. He's now in front, and Reynolds has got it all to do again. Scott Smart didn't get the Suzuki skip. Hang on! Richards wants to go as well. These green guys are really giving him a headache.
I don't believe this. Gary Mason out of this race. That's his second DNF this year. Things not going at all well there. Reynolds
they
back.
Are for JR, absolutely. That's one down, one to go. That's a big presumption because these Kawasaki's are very strong, and don't write off Glenn Richards. He'll want a piece of this yet. Have a look at this. This is 100%. He's through, but can he hold it in tight enough to stop Scott Smart fighting back? This is tight, but this time he's done it. That was forceful.
Yeah, very forceful. John went in there fast, got a good run out, but Scott Smart had a good old look, didn't he, to go back underneath him at that turn 7B. So Scott Smart's all of a sudden had to relinquish that second position. Definitely the gap at the front is closing.
Yeah, this is fascinating now, isn't it? What can Reynolds do? He's just done a fastest. No, believe that that's Michael Rutter, the race leader down. unforced error. Unbelievable stuff.
Wow,
Smart is really close.
He is right on the back of John Reynolds now. I don't think Reynolds is quite aware of this. Look at this. Surely he's not going to stuff him up on the last corner.
Oh, unbelievable stuff. Death-defying. Scott Smart lunges down the inside. Unbelievable stuff. John Reynolds side by side, dragged to the line. What can they do?
I don't know who's got that. I have no idea. That would look like a photo finish there. Kawasaki's reckon that they've got it. John Reynolds, if he's lost that, that is incredible. Well, there it is, confirmation, 0.02 of a second. Number 88, Scott Smart, won the race.
Now, here's the pass.
Well, John Reynolds has just left a gap there big enough for a bus, and I think he must have gone to sleep on the last lap. A look over the shoulder wouldn't have done any harm, would it? Look at that. A great effort for the Hawk Kawasaki team. They have worked all year around, building, getting that bike ready. They got it late, and that is fantastic to see.
Revs are up, ready for a start again. Almost a bit of a creep there from Michael Rutter, but he did the job again. Screaming into the first corner. Scott Smart, boy, is he buoyed up by this. He wants to muscle through. Rutter says, not in your life, sunshine. I've tasted the tarmac once. We've got a rider down there, right in the middle of the pack. Dean Thomas, nightmare in a bubble car, qualified on the front row of the grid. First Ducati home race won. What happened, Steve?
Well, he comes into Honda corner, then gets really rammed up the inside. Then he bashes straight into poor old Gary Mason on the Virgin Mobile Yamaha. So, yeah, absolute mayhem there at that first corner. Oh, sorry.
Tommy, hang on to his sunshine.
Tommy Hill on the Virgin Mobile Yamaha there, just about fired himself out of the seat, still there. Must have scared John Reynolds, who was behind him, because he hasn't got past, that is for sure. But this is the best showing we've seen from one of these Yamahas this year, I reckon.
Tommy Hill, note to self, have found level of adhesion. Yeah, but while all of this is going on, right up at the sharp end, Michael Rutter is not actually going mad, is he? He's being very, very calm and not trying to go ballistic and hop off the bike too early.
Well, I think that's... Oh, Reynolds.
John Reynolds straight through as we expect.
Finally, John Reynolds realised he does not want to follow Tommy Hill when he's doing antics or having antics like that. But I think they are probably going mad. I just think the way things are at the moment, Rutter has decided just to kind of pace himself throughout this race. Obviously, that probably had in race one crashing out. He'd found the limit of adhesion, no doubt.
Yeah, well, he said to us last night, this is a very bumpy circuit. The gap between being on top of it and being off the bike is really fine.
Oh, and Glenn Richards there, he was finding a bunt bike, 75 in 5th place. Really was nearly out of the seat that time around. So, John Reynolds, can he get past Smart again? We saw him in race one, squeeze through there, it all went wrong for him in the last corner. Oh!
Yeah, this is looking very purposeful from John Reynolds. Straight down the inside, no mucking about this time. Michael Rutter just caressing this machine home now. Fast running out of corners for John Reynolds to do anything about it. This is the way it's looking. In behind the pits, Michael Rutter has a cautionary look over his shoulder.
And he's saying to himself, yes, this time I have got it. I know he desperately wanted to win. He pats the tank. Michael Rutter takes the win.
Job done, Michael Rutter. Great stuff. Second place for John Reynolds. Mrs. Rutter is quite impressed as well, as she ought to be. And Scott Smart there, enthusiastic. He thought he could get another podium, and he's done it. So Michael Rutter gets the win. We'll be thinking, boy, it could have been two.